Who dares disturb the Pharaoh?
In 1923, a British aristocrat lay dying in a Cairo hotel room. His name was Lord Carnarvon, and he had done something that the Egyptian workers had warned him against. He had opened a tomb, the tomb of a boy king named Tutankhamun. The workers whispered of curses. Carnarvon laughed. By April of 1923, Carnarvon was back in Cairo, far from the Valley of the Kings. Safe, he thought, 3,000 miles from the Pharaoh's reach. But the Pharaoh doesn't need distance. The Pharaoh only needs a door. And a week earlier, on Carnarvon's left cheek, a mosquito had found one. He cut the bite while shaving, a tiny thing, a scratch. But in that moment, something ancient and patient saw its opportunity. On April 5th, at 1:55 in the morning, Lord Carnarvon took his final breath, and in that exact moment, across the city of Cairo, every light went out. Not his room, not his block, every light. Engineers never found an explanation, but the Egyptian workers didn't need one. They knew.
The Pharaoh has come for what was his.
November 4th, 1922. The Valley of the Kings. A young Egyptian water boy is heading home for the night when his donkey stumbles. The animal's hoof breaks through the sand, revealing something hidden beneath. A step, then another, then another. 16 steps leading down into the earth, cut into solid rock 3,000 years ago. When Howard Carter finally breached the sealed door, he held a candle to the darkness and peered inside. Behind him, Lord Carnarvon asked impatiently, "Can you see anything?" Carter whispered, "Yes, wonderful things." Over 5,000 artifacts, solid gold, precious jewels, the richest discovery in history. But while the Western world celebrated, the Egyptian workers grew quiet. They refused to enter. They knew something the archaeologists didn't. For centuries, locals had whispered about warnings carved on the walls, inscriptions promising death. One curse reads, "I shall seize his neck like a bird." The morning after the opening, Carter's pet canary was found dead in the mouth of a cobra. Not just any cobra, the Egyptian cobra, the exact species that adorns the crown of the pharaohs themselves. To the local workers, the message was clear. The pharaoh had struck back. Carter called it bad luck. He wouldn't for long. March 1923. Carnarvon felt a sharp sting on his left cheek. A mosquito. He slapped it. The next morning, while shaving, he'd cut the bump. A tiny scratch. Nothing to worry about. But within days, his face swelled. Blood poisoning set in. Pneumonia followed. On April 5th, at 2:55 in the morning, Lord Carnarvon took his final breath. And in that exact moment, across the city of Cairo, every light went out. Not his room, not his block, every light. Engineers never found an explanation. At the exact same moment in England, his dog howled and dropped dead. The world erupted. The curse of the pharaohs was born. But here's what the newspapers didn't print. Years later, when they x-rayed King Tut's mummy, they found something that defies coincidence. On Tut's left cheek, there was a lesion, a wound, a scar, the exact same spot as Lord Carnarvon's fatal mosquito bite. The pharaoh reached across 3,000 years and marked his killer. The man who performed that autopsy was Dr. Douglas Derry, a respected anatomist. He kept something to himself for decades. In an interview years later, he confessed, "When we unwrapped the mummy, I felt watched. Not watched, judged. as if something was observing from behind us. We never discussed it, not once in 50 years. Derry lived to be 87, but his daughter wrote that in his final weeks he woke screaming about the eyes in the darkness. He never explained what he meant. Carnarvon was just the first. George J. Gould visited the tomb, dead within hours. Aubrey Herbert, Carnarvon's half-brother, blood poisoning, same as Carnarvon. Richard Bethel, Carter's secretary, found smothered in his bed. Bethel's father threw himself from a building. His suicide note read, "I cannot stand any more horrors." By 1930, over 20 dozen deaths were linked to the tomb. Of the 12 people present at the opening, 6 were dead within years. But Carter, the man who spent the most time inside, lived 17 years later for natural causes. The man who should have been the curse's primary target lived. So, if the curse was real, why spare him? Unless the curse wasn't about killing. Unless it was about something else. For decades, scientists searched for an explanation. What they found is perhaps more terrifying than magic. Sealed for 3,000 years, these tombs were perfect breeding grounds for death. Scientists found Aspergillus niger in sealed tombs, black mold that causes fatal respiratory infections. Carnarvon was already sick from a car accident. When he first breathed the air of the tomb, he inhaled 3,000 years of concentrated death. The paints on the walls contained arsenic, lead. Simply touching a wall could poison you. Some even suggest radiation. Granite contains uranium. Prolonged exposure causes exactly what killed Carnarvon. Science offers answers, but science doesn't explain the matching wound. Science doesn't explain what Derry felt, and science doesn't explain the fifth brick. In King Tut's tomb, archaeologists found something unique. 4 magic bricks were standard, but Tutankhamun had a 5th. The inscription reads, "I have set aflame the desert. I have caused the path to be mistaken. I am for the protection of the deceased." What was this 5th brick guarding? In 2015, high-resolution scans revealed hidden chambers behind the walls. In 2019, during thermal imaging, cameras detected a spike in temperature, consistent with organic matter, moving. The team reviewed the footage 3 times, then sealed the files. The official report called it a sensor malfunction, but sensors don't malfunction in perfect synchronization with a heartbeat pattern. In 2016, a team was ready to drill. Then months before the mission, it was stopped for unknown reasons. The secret remains hidden. In 2024, a tourist named Sarah visited the Egyptian Museum. She photographed the golden mask. Normal tourist photo, nothing special. That night, she zoomed in. In the reflection on the mask's surface, there was a figure, a person, featureless, standing behind her where no one was standing. She asked security to check the logs. It said she was alone. They asked her to delete the photo. The guard said, "This happens. About once a year, someone catches something in the reflection." Then he walked away. The visitor logs for that day have a gap, 17 unaccounted minutes. No footage, no records, just nothing. So what is the curse of the Pharaohs? Supernatural vengeance, ancient biology, or evidence of something watching from the darkness? The matching wound remains unexplained. The lights of Cairo remain unexplained. The 5th brick, the hidden chambers, the figure in the photograph, all unexplained. Today, millions visit the Valley of the Kings. Most leave unharmed, but some report feeling watched. a chill that has nothing to do with temperature. The pharaohs spent eternity preparing. They built traps. They wrote warnings. Perhaps they knew something we don't. Perhaps in the darkness, something still watches. Something still waits. And sometimes it follows you home. The question isn't whether the curse is real. The question is, if a pharaoh cursed those who disturb him, what is he so afraid we might find? Would you enter the tomb? Would you risk 17 unaccounted minutes? Tell us what you believe in the comments, and subscribe for more mysteries from the edge of history.